Welcome to the Okie Woodsman channel. If you're anything like me, you've wondered, how does this 7310 compare to a stock 372 X-Torque? I wish I had a 572 XP here to compare them to, but I don't. However, these three saws represent options if you do not want computerization in your brand new chainsaw. All three of these options are available today. Two of them are available at starsupplyllc.com with discount code OKIE10. Gets you 10% off of a great price. And then the clone saw is available at TriStar Supply using the discount code OKIE10 as well. That 372 clone has been the best clone I've ever owned, especially the 372 kind. In my last video, I had a problem starting it. I don't know what's up with that, but this has not been run today. I might be running this. Well, gosh dang. Just keep in mind what you're getting with the clone. I am borrowing the 372 from a friend of mine, Jason at Raftery. We've done videos together. He has a long history, a long family history of logging. They love 395s and 372s. He has an X-Torque because that's what they sell. He had an option to buy a 572 and he opted to buy the 372 because he was familiar with them. It's not that he was necessarily scared of the 572, but he knew what he was getting with this saw because he had a lot of time on them in the forests of Pacific Northwest or Northern California. There used to be a huge price advantage to the 7310. They are really close to the 372 X-Torque in terms of pricing now and the 572. Why don't I have a 572? Well, it's simply because I haven't got one yet. That's all. I want one badly. I want a 592, I want a 572. I have a 562. And a 545. Those are beautiful saws. My thing is, you know, you got to know when to stop, or at least stop for a time, right? One thing to realize is this saw would not be legal to use in the Western forest because there is no screen on this coming from the factory, okay? This thing's opened up. These are much less expensive, but they do come with some quirks. And if you don't know about those, make sure you check out my other videos and check out videos online. We're not going to be able to answer all of your questions in this comment section, but go ahead and ask and we'll see if we can help, especially if it's a quick one. 372 X-Torque, this has a screen in it. The 7310 has a screen in it. This saw is going off to porting. I have wanted to do this test for a very long time because I am so excited about getting this saw out to porting. I really wish I had a longer log to do my testing with because it would have been really neat to test against the MS460, my 562, the other 620 that Dave ported for me, and all that. But anyway, the circumstances just didn't allow for it this time. As I was working and swapping bars and chains on these, if you want to compare a 7310 to a 372 X-Torque, the 7310 has bar nuts that look like they're steel. They are the size of the steels, but the studs are not. Those are still small studs. They just put a wider head on them. I do not know for what reason. You do not need to torque them down that hard, and I feel like a larger head might promote somebody wanting to get crazier with it. Captive bar nuts. Fantastic. That right there is a total win, without a doubt. One other thing, this is kind of a mixture between Stihl and Husky. The bar adjuster is in the saw, and so this is just simply a side cover. This is not my preference. There's kind of an ongoing joke here, but I don't like this. I really prefer the adjuster in the side cover most of the time. I am warming up to it. Okay, so let's take off the 372 X-Torque here. It's going to look a lot like the one next to it. Or I guess that one's going to look a lot like this one. Bar adjuster in the clutch cover. So there we are. We got inboard clutch and inboard clutch. Actually, I did not realize this. That clutch is much larger on the 372. I'm going to take my two fingers here. Yeah, dude, that's a much larger clutch for sure. I don't know if that matters. Let me know down in the comment section. We have a similar layout. We have dogs that are really a similar size. I feel like Echo took the best of the best and implemented the good things about them. good enough dogs for me, honestly. When you have dogs this size, I find that you end up leveraging on the saw too much in hardwood, and you're going to stop the chain. We do not live in softwood country. I do have a bunch of pine, but again, we don't need a dog in. We really don't, but you do need a dog in on big oak, like that stuff right there. Back to this here. Got a chain catch, real similar. Real similar, actually. The 7310 has studs that go into the case and then nuts that bolt that all down. These have basically threaded screws that go into the case. I actually feel like this is more heavy duty. The Echo saws are not meant to be light duty, or not known to be light duty, let me say that. You know, there's some people that take off their muffler constantly. I'm not one of those people, but if you're going to be taking your muffler on and off a lot, this might be a little bit more stout. Now, of course, the aftermarket is huge for the Husky saws. There's a huge aftermarket just because they sell a lot more than the 7310. None of these need a decomp. If you have reasonable strength and skills with a chainsaw, the decomps are dumb. You can tell that this is the X-Torque because the decomp is in the top of the cylinder head or the jug, whatever, the cylinder. It's on the top here. The OE style saws, this is the one that predates this style, less emissions or no emissions, and this is really the preferable saw if it were OEM. Let's take a look here. I believe those are the same exact layouts. All right, taking a look at this clone. This one does have the full wrap handle. I don't really like those. They're more of a pain in the neck than they are any good for me, but that's because my skill level is just not where I flip the saw over that much. I don't get to fall timber as much as I would like to. For me to practice, I would have no woods left on my 12 acres of beautiful land, and I do not want to cut all my trees. I cut only trees that I need to cut. Hence, my house is built amongst the trees. So, with that being said, I am no good at flipping my saw over to that side and making my undercut, my face cut, my back cut, and all of that. So, I find that these are a little bit more of a nuisance to me. However, I do like to have it on a saw or two, just because I do want to improve my skills there. Again, this is a clone, so this muffler is a little bit different. These are a great saw if you want to start modifying stuff. Now we're going to take a look at like the fueling and oil situation. Also, the getting to the air cleaner. Echo does a real cool thing. See these notches right here in the handle? You pull this out and it fits right here, and you can pop your fuel and oil off without a tool. The Husky setup, all the new stuff has flip caps, and those I think do fit on these saws here, but these saws don't come with them, and nor do these. When the fuel expands, I do find that I want to crack them with a scrunch, but you do not need to tighten these with that. You just use your hands, but a scrunch is very, very useful. You should always have a scrunch with you if you're cutting. That's all that's to it. I like the toolless. I don't like gimmicky stuff, but I really do appreciate the Husky caps. They're my favorite. The next ones behind them are the Echo style because, though I don't particularly like doing this procedure, it sure beats pulling out a scrunch. A lot of times my scrunch is buried or, like you, not right there within reach. No, I don't like the Stihl ones. You can tell these two saws have the same exact type of kill switch. On the clones, these fail a lot. I don't know about OEM. I've never owned an OEM 372. I do have a 395 that is OEM, and that switch is failed. So, I don't know. Another thing for an X-Torque, X-Torques have these blue choke levers, all right? I'm pretty sure that's unique to the X-Torques. They're dimensionally a little bit different height-wise and weight-wise. So some of the parts are compatible, but the cylinder, the carb, A bunch of stuff is not. This looks like it's taller here than it is on here by like maybe a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch or something. So anyway, but again, this is the best we've got for comparing. I love this. I love that. That's a great deal. I like that a lot. Man, the clone has it. We'll compare that here in a moment to the Echo. I didn't check this. It's not bad. Ooh, OEM. Let me know if the 372 OEs non-X-Torques have this style deal versus this. I just always thought they were like this. These are something that you can easily lose, but I really, really like that. Husky, good job, man. Fantastic. Let's take a peek. These are great filters on these things. Look at that. This saw has worked hard, everybody. This saw wears a 32-inch bar all the time, and it's really doing 90cc saw work. That's just the way Jason rolls. He would love to have a 395, but it's just not warranted currently. Hey, check this out. That carb is pristine inside. Absolutely pristine. All right, let's close this up. I like this. This is a beautiful saw. I love it, actually, but I want a 572. I think I want a 572. I like the computers, guys. I do. Let's just take a gander inside of this one right here. Yeah, this is way more potential for loss, 100%. But listen, you don't, on a Husky, it's not a Stihl. You don't have to take off your air cleaner all the time. You can do it like every few days of cutting, actually. Okay, check that out. Nice and clean as well. The clone does really good because it copied, I think, the best setup there is, short of that one, but we'll be right back on that. In fact, I already have a video about that. It's probably already posted. But if you haven't seen that, check this out. Really, really, really clean as well. That's not something you'll find in a lot of saws out there, including, I know my 562 and 545 don't stay that clean. I believe Husky went backwards. I really do. Husky went backwards. This is a good, or that's a good setup. Even the clone cheapo is a good setup. Now, this is a lot like some Stihls. Stihl doesn't do the same thing on every saw. I don't know if you've noticed that, but some of their saws have like a thing back here, like a 1/4 turn thing. Some of them are like this. I want to say the 261 and the 462 are like this. This is stout. Okay, you have 3 of these to remove. And right here, or you don't remove, you just pop them. There we are. Know what I love? There's nothing to lose on this saw. My bar nuts are captured. I'm not going to lose my side cover, but these Huskies right here, they're just begging for these to go down into the saw chips. Hey, I'm just rambling on. This is a different kind of video for me because I normally like get in front of the camera, but this is definitely a little different. Let me know your thoughts. I'm pretty wild, to be honest with you. I'm talking pretty quickly because when I stand in front of the camera, I'm trying to present something. I'm just talking about what I see and what I know. When I'm talking in front of the camera about saws, I'm trying to be extremely thoughtful. I'm trying to be careful with my words. And like right now, I'm starting to stutter. That's just the way I roll. I had some guy talk to me or mention in my comments section, like I said, I'm really curious how this is going to work out. He said that I said it too many times. I'm sorry if you don't like the way I speak. You have full access to this machine with 3/4 turn fasteners. How beautiful is that? Again, a stupid thing. You don't need that. Listen, of course, if you have a physical thing going on, you do need that. But look at that. That sucker that's got to be leaking. This is nice because you can pull your plug. I never pull my plug when I'm out in the field, honestly. I never pull my plug. If my saw's not running, I pick up another saw, or I take a look, make sure it's, together like I did on that testing video. But I don't know necessarily that I need this good of access with those being removed. Anyway, what does change is you do not have good access to the carburetor. Guys, I still have not cleaned this. This is a phenomenal air cleaner. This is, we're over 5 tanks on this saw, and it's gorgeous. Echo, look how clean. Dude, there's nothing in here. You know, you look inside of these stop the dust from getting in, but the carb, everything's caked with dust. This thing is 100% clear. I mean, look at that. There's a little bit of fine dust there, but that carb is just gorgeous and clean inside as well. I have a full video on that if you're more curious about this air cleaner setup. I think that this is the best air cleaner I've ever seen. Now, I like the simplicity more of this because you can get to the carb, you can see your fuel lines. This, I've never torn one of these apart. I don't really want to. I hope I don't have to. It's going out to porting. That gentleman's going to take care of that. He's going to get into this thing and make this thing hot. I really, really am excited because this saw is a pleasure to run. All right, there we go right there. Spark plugs. Big plug, big plug, big plug. Some of these new saws are like, they're really small. These are all big. All right, covers are about the same. I wonder if that fits on there. It does, or it kind of looks like it does. Yeah, it doesn't look right though, does it? Yeah, it doesn't look right. What about this? Remember, you know, some people put like carbon fiber hoods on like Hondas and stuff. At least they did in California when I was a kid. Check that out. I wonder if Jason would appreciate that. I wouldn't want the Chinesium on my beautiful Swedish Husqvarna. All right, sorry. I'm pretty wild right now. It's cold. I've been outside all day filming videos. Guys, if you haven't seen, or if you are sitting there on your keyboard and you're wondering, why don't you cover this? Why don't you do this? Why didn't you cut that way? Why didn't you just do this different? It is a ton of work. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and give your favorite channel that's putting out testing footage, give them a thumbs up and a comment. Let them know how they're doing. Let me know how I'm doing, because I'm telling you, I'm working up a sweat, and we are like 30 degrees out here today, maybe 34 right now. I don't know. It's cold enough, but I'm sweating. One last thing. I want to tell you how they feel in the hand. So I'm going to throw these covers on real quick. Hopefully I have battery in my phone. My favorite is this. This reminds me a little bit too much of a Stihl, but hey, you know what? I like Stihls. I want a 462 and a 500. That's the truth. I do want a 400. Man, you know what? I have the case of I wants. Do you have the case of I wants? What's your dream saw? What is your dream saw? I feel wild right now. My regular viewers might be a little bit worried because they probably are thinking, what is he on? I'm not on anything. This is how I am. This is just how I am. This is a side you may not have ever seen. Oh, let's get this back on here. I'm not putting them on scales. Honestly, they're so close. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you if they're so... Actually, that 7310 feels lighter than this. I don't know if it is, but it does feel it. I like the bar nuts on the captive bar nuts. That's 100% certain. Man, I like this. These pallet forks on my tractor for having a workbench out here. That's really nice. A lot of times I do videos on my workbench, but man, you know what? I'm already out here, and this is a perfect opportunity to do it. I love those clips, guys. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is a glorious saw. There's actually going to be some custom work being done to this shortly. I think I'm going to at least, my intentions is to do a base gasket delete myself on it. And then there's some other things that are going to change as well. More on that later. This saw is actually very nice to run. I'm really curious. At this point right now, I don't know how these saws compared in running. This one actually felt really good. They all felt really good. I like the saws I have. This is not mine. I did purchase this and I did not purchase this. I do have collaborations, and I'm supported by TriStar Supply and SawSuppliers.com. Again, if you're interested in any of these saws, I have discount codes for all three of them, plus the other popular Echoes and Husqvarna's 562s, 550s, 390 or 592s, all of them. And then these guys here, they've got clone 395s, they've got clone 660s, and all of that. Make sure you check them out. TriStar Supply, Okie 10 discount code on both of them. First things first, let's pick up the X-Torque and let's pick up the 7310. I don't know which one's heavier. I feel like they're really the same, really close to the same. I don't know if the handle's thicker on the 7310. I feel like it is. I hold a saw like this quite often. Ooh, 7310 wins there. There's more gap right here. I can fit 3 fingers wide. Right here, this one I can fit like a pyramid. That's comfortable to hold it like that. I've never done that, never even thought of that before, but I like that. That's something I would just do. This is like a 2-finger hold. This is an easy 3. What that means is if you're gonna start your saw on the ground like all the instruction manuals tell you, this is gonna fit your foot better, I think. I cannot wait to get this ported. All right, 372, let's feel the throttle. I feel like this is stiff. It's smooth, but it is stiff. Actually, it's very stiff. Let's see if this one is like that. Oh, this sounds cheap, but it feels marvelous. It's way, way smoother. Is this cable driven, everyone? Will you tell me? I'm not a mechanic. I just like chainsaws. This feels like I'm dragging a cable through a sheath. This feels like really nice linkage on this 7310. I like it. Now, one thing that I don't like on this is really a long pull. I feel like it's a long pull at least. And I never even looked at the trigger. Look at that thing. It's like a C, backwards C going into the handle. Anyway, feels good. Much better trigger actually. We got real similar choke scenarios. On and off switch in the same place, or the kill switch technically. This is easy to bump with your glove, but you know what? I have a feeling that this is far more durable in the long run. I'm gonna give it a win on the 7310 for the trigger feel, and that right there, really. Very much so. Ergonomics are better on this. It feels long at first, like a big distance between your rear hand and this hand, but it feels good. Yes, this is more compact this way, or at least it feels that way. I feel like on the Echo, I'm holding it like maybe here. That might give more stability in cutting. I know that Aaron Lynch does not like how those saws feel in the hands. He says they feel weird. He's a Stihl man, so you know he's used to what he's used to. When I first picked up that saw, I thought it felt weird, but when I cut with it, I like it. This is nice. This has like a really good pivot in the middle here for like limbing and stuff. That feels good. Let me just do that pivot here. My hands feel further away. I feel like that at least. Something's different. This handle feels like it bends forward more. We're not gonna mess with the clone because it's gonna feel basically the same as this right here. Yeah. That handle like swoops around more. This kind of goes up and then cuts over. This one goes up and then they have it leaned out further. Yeah, dimensionally, I think that saw is longer. Echoes are never like the most nimble, light saw. They just seemingly aren't, with the exception of the 2511. And if you haven't seen my ported 2511, awesome. Good grief, I'm excited to climb with that thing. I really am. Corey Corp did that one. Some of you may know who's porting this, but I'm not officially announcing that on the YouTube channel just yet. But if you follow me on Facebook, you very well may know because I have interactions with this gentleman quite regularly. I am so excited to send it out. I need to package that sucker up. Maybe I can package it this week. I need to get it going. I'll give you a hint. There's corn involved. Listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you found that this was interesting, if you would like me to do it again on other saws, I can sure do that for you because this was actually a lot of fun looking at them individually, seeing what the difference is, pointing out things I like. Just to say this right here, if you want to know which one I would buy, well, I did buy that one, and I did not buy one of these, and I could have, right? So I bought this, and I did not buy this. I bought this, and I did not buy a 572. Sometimes I wonder why. Well, I do know why, because I knew that this saw has huge potential in it. The 572 is likely a very good stout saw. They have really nice crank bearings in them, but I'm a little less excited about porting the new Huskies. I feel like they're so high strung stock. I just feel like there's more gains here. And, oh, I do have one thing that I despise about this saw, and I have tried to figure out a way around it, but these stupid high and low jets have a very strange type limiter in them, and if you put a flathead in there and if you turn, I think it was described to me by somebody, you can break the jet, like the adjuster on this thing, really easily. That's a negative on this. I think it's a Walbro carb. There's an old Husky high and low jet that you can put in there, but they don't make them anymore. They just don't make them anymore. And I saw some videos on them, and that would be so cool if if you could just put like a good jet in there, like that you're not worried about breaking. That is a negative on this saw, 100%. I've even wondered, is there another carburetor off of another saw that you could put on there instead? Because I don't know. I don't know what the builder's going to do on this. I'm curious to talk to him about it. I don't know if you can go wrong with either one, really. And, you know, again, I haven't seen the cut test. This is made in Japan. I believe those 7310s are made in Japan. This is either Sweden or Brazil. Let's see where this says. Okay, this says Sweden. They make 395s in Brazil, but this is a Swedish saw here. And where do you think that's made? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.